So this is Fairport Harbor West Breakwater Light. It was first lit June 9th, 1925. The building that we're in was created in a factory in Buffalo, New York. It was built specifically to go on this platform to replace the original Grand River Lighthouse, which was decommissioned. They built it starting in 1922, continued the construction in 1923, and then it was shipped over here on a boat and placed on the platform and then finished out throughout. There is a beam in the center of this floor that used to cantilever out the east side. That's where they brought coal in. So they would bring a boat up to the side of the lighthouse. They would bring in shipments of coal and drop the coal down the double doors down into the basement where there was a coal boiler for heat.
Well, I've been painting for over 20 years and I've lived in Mentor or Lake County all my life. And it's just, I always felt a sense of it being ours as a community. I always tell people, you know, the painting is one of the easiest parts about this job. It's the getting the paint out here and the setup, the equipment needed. Because you're on an island, and if you didn't bring it with you, you don't have it. So you gotta get kind of creative, and you're gonna have to find a way to get what you need out here. And so far I've made over 80 trips carrying at least 2 gallons of paint and a backpack. And then when I leave out of here, I'm taking garbage. So there's no such thing as an empty-handed trip. I love it, actually. You know, I mean, I was too young to paint the lighthouse the last time it got painted, and I'm gonna be too old to do it the next time it's gonna be done. So I figured this was my one and only opportunity to be able to do it.
There were 3 light keepers of this lighthouse starting in 1925. They went from 1925 to 1948. And in 1948, it was determined that they no longer needed a light keeper to actually live here. The structure is still considered an active aid to navigation. The beacon on the top is run by solar power, which is maintained by the U.S. Coast Guard. It came up for auction as part of the Lighthouse Restoration Act of 2000, which was an act of Congress that said that there's many lighthouses now owned by the federal government that are no longer occupied. Some of them are continuing to function like this one is. Some of them do not even function at all anymore. But it was generally surplus real estate for the government. So Congress said, we need to dispose of this real estate, but we understand that these are not just like any other structure. Lighthouses have significant historical and cultural importance, and we need to preserve that. So in order to preserve it, they didn't want to just dump the lighthouses. They provided a way for the General Services Administration to take over the lighthouses, and they found a way to create an auction system. The lighthouses that they get rid of about 5 or so a year, and they're first offered to a local nonprofit or community group. If the local group can put together a proposal, raise money, and demonstrate to the government how they're going to restore it, and more importantly, how they're going to maintain it in the years to come, then they can be awarded the lighthouse. If no community group steps forward, then they go on the auction block, very similar to eBay for surplus government property. I won the bidding in August of 2011, and this became officially mine on 11/1/2011, so 11/1/11. The windows on the main floor have all been hand stripped down, refinished. All of the windows were taken apart, new glass put in, and the new weights and ropes were all redone. So these are all the original windows in here. On the upper level, only one original window could be saved, and the remaining replacement windows had to be approved by the state of Ohio, the Historic Preservation Commission office in Ohio, in Columbus. They had to match the existing windows, so they had to be what's called double hung, and they also had to be wood. They could not be vinyl. So again, to try and match the original windows that were here.
Every day that I've been here since Memorial Day, I've met photographers. People come here to photograph it. There's helicopters and planes and drones and just people with cell phones. And it's just like one of the most photographed buildings in Northeast Ohio, for sure. This past year, it wasn't in the budget to get it done. I wanted to figure out a way that we could get it done. And it all started with a gallon of paint and coming out here, and that's how the ball got rolling. And now I'm on a mission. I can't stop. I want to see it completed. No matter what I have to do to get it done, I want to get it done. From day one, it was a dream of mine to paint this lighthouse. And once I got started on it, I realized, the challenges that were ahead of me. I'm to the point in this project where I'm going to need a little bit better equipment to get the towers completed, because they're so high and it's dangerous work. And up to this point, I've done everything with nothing more than a harness and a 6-foot ladder and a long extension pole. And there's areas on this building that you have to get up close and personal with to be able to paint, and you can't do everything from the ground. So I'm gonna need some equipment and a boat to get it out here. It's a landmark. I mean, if you break down the word landmark, that's exactly what it is. If you're out on the ship and you're lost and you need to get back to Fairport Harbor without the help of modern day compasses and GPS, you could look for it and you'll know how to get back home. So it's a landmark. It's historical. There's a dwindling number of them in the United States, and they're not building them anymore. So we gotta preserve the ones we have. And I've always been a painter, and I love the lighthouse. And I just couldn't. I have way more reasons why I want to do it than why I shouldn't do it. I contacted Sheila right after she bought it, and I had a love of the lighthouse, and I was a painter, and I knew a long time ago that I was never going to get rich by doing what I do for a living. So I, at that point, tried to take on cool jobs, ones that are fun and actually have a meaning. And this job here is just, to me, is the coolest job that I've ever got to work on. But at the same time, it's the hardest job I've ever worked on. I don't want to stop because I want to see it completed. And if the funding was there, I'm here. I'm here every day until it's done. So that's where I'm at. I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. I've put a lot of my personal customers and jobs on hold, and they're all fine with it because they know what I'm doing out here. And it's not about money. It never has been about money. But I just do need money to make this happen. It kind of changed. Me and Sheila had plans for it to start on Memorial Day weekend to get the ball rolling. And after we planned that, I found out my mother got diagnosed with cancer, and she had to have a surgery, and they scheduled the surgery for the day after I was supposed to start. I almost stopped. She wanted me to come out here. She told me that the doctors will do what they'll do, and I'm a painter, so I should be out there. And we communicated through text messages and phone calls. And to me, I can't even say it there. It's for Mom. I mean, a lot of it's for my mother. Cancer. The lighthouse has cancer with rust, and I'm trying to get rid of it.